Hi, this is Satyam. So I'm going to demonstrate one Node.js project. So this is actually a backend project where I have created few APIs that is related to book. So let's start with the folder structure. So here I have created one model folder. So inside that we have one book.js. So where I have defined whatever the entity we have for the book. So for the book, suppose we have this title, author, and summary, which is of the type as string. Then we have one database folder. So inside database folder, we have one dbconfig.json file. So in this, we have written all those configurations to connect to our local MongoDB Compass, and we are writing this path to that local Compass, and this book is our schema name. Then we are exporting that function here, connect to database, so that we can use in other files. Then we have this controller. So inside controller we have created several methods like add book, get all books by id, update book, and delete book. So these methods we created. So first we imported this model and we stored that in the book variable. Then this function is a async type function. So here we created one instance of the book, and in that we passed that body, and we are using the save method uh, on that instance so that we can save to the database. And if that is success, then that response we are returning, and we are returning that status code as 200, and we are returning that body, like whatever is the payload, so that only we are sending as a response. And if that is error, so we are returning a status code as 500, and whatever the error message is there, so in error we are returning those messages. Similarly for the get all books is also that async type, and here we are finding all those objects which are found in that schema, and we are returning that with a status code of 200. Similarly for the book by id, so here from that request param we are getting that id, and we are using this find by id method to fetch that particular id book. And if that is success, then we are returning 200 status code, and we are returning all those array. Then we have update book. So here also we are using find by id and update method, and here we are passing three things, that id along with body and this object new as a true. So this is required because we want to get the updated uh, document from that db. And here also if that is success, we are returning the 200 status code along with that updated entry. Similarly for that delete book, we need to fetch first id from that request param, and that thing we are passing to this find by id and remove method. So if that is success, we are getting a success message, and these all methods we are exporting so that we can use in the routes folder. So here in the routes folder, so all those methods be imported, and we are creating one instance of the router express.from express.router, and we have some different paths like api slash books we are putting in all, because we are changing that method, like this is post, this is get, and this is get, this is put, and this is delete. And this get by id, here we are passing as a id in the request param, and this router we are exporting, this complete module we are exporting, and in the main file, that is the index.js. So here we are using that routes, and we are using that database method. First we are calling the database method so that it will connect to the database. Then we are using that body parser and this route, and we are starting our server at 3000 port. Here we defined that. So this application we can run using the command node and that entry file name, that is index.js. So we can go to the further go to the browser to see how we can hit the APIs. So first we'll try to add some new book. So suppose here we added one book. Title is Engineering Mechanics, let's say. Let's say author is S. Chand. Okay, we'll send this. We'll get 200, and this is the response we are getting. So if we want to check in the database, so we can refresh it. So now this entry is coming here. If we want to get all those records, then we can select one get method here. We can press send. So we get a 3 record. Suppose we want to get this particular entry only. We can copy this ID. So here we paste that ID. Method is get only, send. We get this only this one. Suppose we want to edit this particular record. So here we can select a put method. This ID is fine. Suppose we had updated this name as s dot all in caps, send. So here it is changed. Here we can see the database. It is updated here. Now let's say we want to delete this particular entry. We can select this delete method, send. We get a message, book deleted successfully. We'll check in the database, we'll refresh it, so it's get deleted. Yeah, thanks.